Numbers 28. The Lord spoke to Moses, "Command the Israelites and say to them, be sure to present me at its appointed time my offering and my food as my food offering, a pleasure aroma to me, and say to them, this is the food offering you are to present to the Lord. Each day present 2 unblemished year-old male lamb as a regular burnt offering. Offer 1 lamb in the morning and the other lamb at twilight, along with 2 quarts of fine flour for a grain offering mixed with a quart of olive oil from crushed olives. It is a regular burnt offering established at Mount Sinai for a pleasing aroma, a food offering to the Lord. And the drink offering is to be a quart with each lamb. Pour out the offering of beer to the Lord in the sanctuary area. Offer the second lamb at twilight along with the same kind of grain offering and drink offering as in the morning. It is a food offering, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. On the Sabbath day, present 2 unblemished year-old male lambs, 4 quarts of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering, and its drink offering. It is the burnt offering for every Sabbath in addition to the regular burnt offering and its drink offering. At the beginning of each of your months, present a burnt offering to the Lord. 2 young bulls, 1 ram, 7 male lambs, a year old, and all unblemished, with 6 quarts of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering for each bull, 4 quarts of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering for the ram, and 2 quarts of fine flour mixed with oil as the grain of offering for each lamb. It is a burnt offering, a pleasure aroma, a food offering to the Lord. Their drink offering is to be 2 quarts of wine with each bull, 1 and a third quart with the ram, and 1 quart with each male lamb. This is the monthly burnt offering for all the months in the year, and 1 male goat to be offered as a sin offering to the Lord, in addition to a regular burnt offering with its drink offering. The Passover to the Lord comes in the first month on the 14th day of the month. On the 14th day of this month, there will be a festival, unleavened bread. It is to be eaten for 7 days. On the first day, there is to be a scarce assembly. You are not to do any daily work. Present a food offering, burnt offering to the Lord, 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs, a year old. Your animals are to be unblemished. The grain offering with them is to be of fine flour mixed with oil. Offer 6 quarts with each bowl, and 4 quarts with the ram. Offer 2 quarts with each of the 7 lambs, and 1 male goat for the sin offering to make anointment for yourself. Offer these with the morning burnt offering that is part of your regular burnt offering. You are to offer the same food each day for 7 days as a food offering, a pleasure aroma to the Lord. It is to be offered with its drink offering and a regular burnt offering. On the 7th day you are to hold a scarce assembly. You are to not do any daily work. On the day of first fruit you are to hold a scarce assembly when you present an offering of new grain to the Lord at your festival of weeks. You are not to do any daily work. Present a burnt offering as a pleasant aroma to the Lord: 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs a year old, with their grain offering of fine flour mixed with oil. 6 quarts with each bull, 4 quarts with the rams, and 2 quarts with each of the 7 lambs, and 1 male goat to go to make anointment for yourself. Offer them with their drink offering in addition to the regular burnt offering and its grain offering. Your animals are to be unblemished.
Numbers 29. You are to hold a sacred assembly in the 7th month on the 1st day of the month, and you are not to do any daily work. This will be a day of trumpet blast for you. Offer a burnt offering as a pleasing aroma to the Lord: 1 young bull, 1 ram, 7 male lambs a year old, all unblemished, with their grain offering of fine flour mixed with oil, 6 quarts with the bull, 4 quarts with the ram, and 2 quarts with each of the 7 male lambs. Also, offer 1 male goat as a sin offering to make anointment for yourselves. These are in addition to the monthly and regular burnt offering with their prescribed grain offering and drink offering. They are a pleasing aroma, a food offering to the Lord. You are to hold a sacred assembly on the 10th day of this 7th month and practice self-denial. Do not do any work. Present a burnt offering to the Lord, a pleasing aroma: 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs a year old. All your animals are to be unblemished. Their grain offering is to be of fine flour mixed with oil: 6 quarts with the bull, 4 quarts with the ram, and 2 quarts with each of the 7 lambs. Offer 1 male goat for a sin offering. The regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering are in addition to the sin offering. Atonement. You are to hold a sacred assembly on the 15th day of the 7th month. You do not do any daily work. You are to celebrate a 7-day festival for the Lord. Present a burnt offering, a food offering, a pleasing aroma to the Lord: 13 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs a year old. They are to be unblemished. Their grain offering is to be fine flour mixed with oil, 6 quarts with each of the 13 bull, 4 quarts with each of the 2 rams, and 2 quarts with each of the 14 lambs. Also, offer 1 male goat as a sin offering. These are an addition in regular burnt offering with its grain and drink offering. On the second day, present 12 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs, a year old, unblemished, with their grain and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and lambs in the proportion of their number. Also, offer 1 male goat as a sin offering. These are in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain and drink and their drink offering. On the third day, present 11 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs, and a year old, all unblemished, with their grain and drink offering for the bulls, rams, and lambs in proportion of their number. Also offer 1 male goat as a sin offering. These are in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain and drink offering. On the fourth day, present 10 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs, a year old, all unblemished, with their grain and drink offering for the Lord, for the bulls, rams, and lambs in proportion to their number. Also offer 1 male goat as a sin offering. These are in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain and drink offerings. On the fifth day, present 9 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs, a year old, all unblemished, with their grain and drink offering for the bulls, rams, and lambs in proportion of their number. Also offer 1 male goat as a sin offering. These are in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grains and drinks offering. On the 6th day, present 8 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs, a year old, all unblemished, with their grains and drink offering for the bulls and rams and lambs in proportion to their number. Also offer 1 male goat as a sin offering. These are in addition in the regular burnt offering with its grain and drink offering. On the 7th day, present 7 bulls with 2 rams and 14 male lambs, a year old and all unblemished, with their grain and drink offering for the bull, ram, and lambs in proportion to their number. Also offer 1 male goat as a sin offering. These are in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain and drink offering. On the 8th day, you are to hold a solemn assembly. You are not to do any daily work. Present a burnt offering, a food offering, and a pleasing aroma to the Lord. 1 bull, 1 ram, 7 male lambs. A year old, all unblemished, with their grain and drink offering for the bull's, ram, and lambs in proportion for their numbers. Also offer 1 male goat as a sin offering. These are in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain and drink offering. Offer these to the Lord at your appointed times, in addition to your vow and free will offerings, whether burnt grain, drink, or fellowship offering. So Moses told the Israelites everything the Lord had commanded him. Numbers 30. Moses told the leader of the Israelite tribe, "This is what the Lord has commanded. When a man makes a vow to the Lord or swears an oath to put himself under an obligation, he must not break his word. He must do whatever he has promised. When a woman in her father's house during her youth makes a vow to the Lord or puts herself under an obligation, and her father hears about her vow of the obligation she puts herself under, and he says nothing to her, all her vows and every obligation she put herself under are binding. But if her father prohibits her on the day he hears about it, none of her vows and none of the obligations she put herself under are binding. The Lord will release her because her father has prohibited her. If a woman marries while her vow or the rash commitment she herself made are binding, and her husband hears about it and says nothing to her, when he finds out her vows are binding and the obligations she put herself under are binding. But if her husband prohibits her when he hears about it, he will cancel her vow that is binding or the rash commitment she herself made, and the Lord will release her. Every vow a widow or divorced woman puts herself under is binding on her. If a woman in her husband's house has made a vow or put herself under an obligation with an oath, and her husband hears about it and says nothing to her, and does not prohibit her, all her vows and binding, and every obligation she put herself under is binding. But if her husband cancels them on the day and hears about it, nothing that came from her lips, whether her vows or her obligations, is binding. Her husband has canceled them, and the Lord will release her. Her husband may confirm or cancel any vow or any sworn obligation to deny herself. If her husband says nothing at all to her from day to day, he confirms all her vows and obligations, which are binding. He has confirmed them because he said nothing to her when he heard about them. But if he cancels them after he hears about them, he will be responsible for her commitment. These are the statuses that the Lord commanded Moses concerning the relationship between a man and his wife, or between a father and his daughter in his house during her